Chantal, guess what I forgot? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pro Trade Room Plus, the WASDE report. My name is Lee Goldstein, the trading director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so trade carefully, please. Okay, everybody. We are here for WASDE. I know. What's a WASDE? Most of you know, and most of you are tired of my joke, what's a WASDE? After about 18 months, it gets a little bit tired. I agree. But it's a grain report. The world, you know what? It says it on the DMM. I'm not going to make a fool of myself and not pronounce it properly. So let me get the DMM and let me show you what it is. This is why I hate when upgrades to software happens. So that's my default when I now load Adobe. I mean, it's such a pain. It's such a little stupid thing, but it makes me so crazy. I didn't need an update to Adobe Reader. I was perfectly happy with the version that existed 40 years ago. The World Agriculture, the World Agriculture Supply and Demand Estimates. That's why it's called WASDE, okay? That's obvious why we now call it WASDE. Who wants to spend time tripping over that? So if we look at corn on WASDE, it's actually moved a little bit over the past 3 months. All right. We're going to be trading soybeans, or I'm going to be trading soybeans on this. As a breakout, we're moving away from trap trades for a little while on WASDE. I want to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube. Thank you. It's our stream of the week here at 10-Minute Trades. Please hit the like button because we get a lot of money from YouTube if you hit the like button. No, I'm kidding. Hit the like button. I don't even know if it does anything anymore, but it tells us that you're happy that we're streaming. So hit the like button and we'll keep streaming. If you hit the notification bell, then you'll know the next time that we are going to be streaming. You'll get notified. All right. So we're going to trade the soy breakout because soy has a tendency of possible nice big moves. Okay. Now, if you want to, you can use a 15 tick bracket, and you would not be out of line if you used a 15 tick bracket, because back in June there was a 13 tick little bit of a whipsaw. All right, so I might use a 13, but no matter what, I'm using a breakout. We'll enter at 11:59.58. Okay, and we'll get started. Steve, that's pretty funny. That's very funny. Okay. We'd like to build our YouTube channel. It's really hard to build YouTube. It's hard to build anything these days. Everything is so fractured. Everybody has their little bubble that they exist in. It's definitely harder and harder to build something. No doubt about it. Let's take a look at a couple of WASDs. Let's see what happened last month. So you see what happened last month. It was a gigantic move and it didn't fill us. Okay. Sometimes that happens. That's called really bad luck because it was a fantastic move and it did not fill. Okay. What's fascinating is that the trap filled on corn. So we're going to keep an eye on corn and whether or not we want to bring the trap back. But right now, corn has been extremely quiet on most of our reports. So, look, last month it did have an opportunity to make a little bit of money, but it was not easy. It really didn't have a great follow through. So, one of the issues is corn has not been moving all that much. All right. It hasn't been moving all that much. Last month, it almost showed a little bit of life. Okay. Corn is starting to show a little bit more of life. So you would have had to taken your profit pretty quick on the trap or it wouldn't have worked. Okay. Let me put my corn chart up. Now with grains, you do want to check volumes. Sorry, new market analyzer, and it brings up, if you right click and add an instrument, ZC 1223, just knowing from experience, that's the correct instrument to trade. Okay. That's a moderate to good amount of volume for corn. If you type the prefix into a Ninja chart and then click on the future that it brings up, it will show you what is theoretically the current instrument. It's saying that 923 is the current instrument, but look at the difference in volume. It's quite a bit higher on 12. So I would trade 12. Both of them do have enough volume to trade, but it is a shame when the volume is mixed because that can lead to less liquidity in a trade. It's always better, we see it with natural gas in particular. It's always better to get the majority of volume on the instrument you're trading. We always like that better. We do like that better. I wanted to do the same thing for soybeans. So you do ZS, click on the future, and 11 is the correct contract on soy. Okay. 11 is correct on soy. So just because it's a future that you're not necessarily familiar with doesn't mean it's going to be a more difficult trade. So it's important to know that. Um, most futures act similarly. When they don't, when you get an instrument that acts really strangely from other instruments, it's usually instruments that have really bad volume. But most of the time, when an instrument has good volume, good enough volume to trade well, then I'm sorry, then it's okay to trade it. Okay. One of the reasons the instrument I'm thinking of actually is gasoline. Gasoline, the instrument, when I used to look at it years ago, was so volatile and thin, it didn't act normally. It didn't trade in a normal manner. It was very hard to trade using software or any setup because it was so fast and it chopped all over the place. Okay, so what I'm going to do for today, right click the chart, click on the strategy. I'm trading a breakout trade, and the time is 11:59:58. And the bracket is 7. I'm going to keep an eye on the market. I'm going to leave myself open. If I want to up the bracket, I will, because corn has big moves. Okay. It has big moves that it can absorb a bigger bracket. In our testing, we really realized that most of the trades that win just don't need much of a bracket in our testing of soybeans. And that's why we went back down to a smaller bracket. So I'm going to use targets of 9 and 24. I'm going to up it a tiny bit. The stop is 20. And if my first target gets hit, I am going to use target 1 stop move. Even though it cost me money in my first trade today, this is a report that definitely has a tendency to reverse. So I'm going to do a break even minus 3. If my first target gets hit, that's the way I'm going to set it up. Okay. I'm going to label this soy BR for breakout. Soy BR for breakout. And I'm going to check my bracket by setting the time to 0. Okay, that's a decent size bracket. I'm leaving my bracket for a few seconds just to see how volatile this market is. It's not out of control. All right. We're able to keep our brackets on the chart. All right. Now, with WASDE, sometimes, let me finish resetting it up. So go back, put the time back to 11. All right. With WASDE, every now and then we have seen an instrument become difficult to trade before the report. In other words, there would be strange and unusual volatility before the actual news gets released. Now, it's not because we don't know when the news is released on WASDE, because it doesn't really show up on a calendar the way that it does on a GDP report or a jobs report. It's just different, okay? WASDE doesn't show on a calendar. It's interesting. Financial Juice used to cover WASDE. They're not covering it anymore. So, and then once again, I do want to say hello to our YouTube visitors. Thanks for watching us on our stream. Hit that like button, will you? Hit that like button. Let us know that you like what we're doing. But anyway, what I'm saying is sometimes before a WASDE report, there could be an outsized move that might make you think, I'm going to cancel this WASDE report. It's not safe. Doesn't look like it's safe to trade soybeans right now. So if that's the case, I want to have an alternative corn trade set up. Okay. I do want to have a corn trade set up. In other words, if it looks to me like soybeans are reacting to news that we don't think has been released, but it's as big a reaction as if news were released, then I would cancel my soybean trade. And I would like to have an available corn trade that I could put on, because I've seen it happen one time over the years. It happened once. All right, let's not get all carried away and bent out of shape over it. It's not that big a deal. All right, so what I'm going to do is just set up a corn breakout. Now, corn's been moving pretty small. So it's going to be 11:59, 59 on the activation. Bracket of 7. I'm not going to do 8. I'm going to do it 7. And the targets are going to be smaller. I'm just going to use a target of 6 and 13. And the stop is 15. And I'll do the same thing. Make sure you turn off your account warnings. I'll do the same thing. If it hits my first target, I'll use that target 1 stop move, because it's possible we could get a reversal, break even minus. Break even minus 3 ticks, stop of 15. Count warnings are off. I'll check my brackets here. Let's save the template. We'll save WASDE ZC 8/11/23. And we'll check our brackets, making the time 0. Now, if I didn't make my time 0, I did. Okay. It won't calculate until the price moves. It has to have price movement to calculate a bracket. So I will leave my corn trade enabled. All right. Not enabled, I apologize. I will leave my corn trade ready. If I need it, I can just uncheck the soybeans and check my corn. I'm not trading them both at the same time. Some people will. I make sure my charts are live. So I do have a corn trade that's ready. That doesn't matter, Frank. It really doesn't matter. It only has to do with seeing your pivots correctly. That's all it affects. It doesn't affect the trade. It would not hurt your trade. Okay. So don't worry. It wouldn't hurt the trade. Now, I knew I left my money on with soy. So I'm going to go back and turn off my account warnings. Turn them off, apply it, and okay it. So one more time on my soy trade, breakout 1159.58, bracket of 7, targets of 9 and 24 with a stop of 20, break even -3 if my target 1 gets hit. Roz, it's not that big of a move on us. It's not all that big. Nowhere near anything that would make me even consider thinking about not trading. That's actually pretty normal. Keep in mind that we might have our chart spread a little bit wider too to present the brackets better. All right, so soy is okay. I mean, it is volatility, but if you think about it, it's just testing the low. So it's really very normal kind of price action. In terms of corn, I just wanted to look at the volume one more time, make sure I haven't missed anything. Yeah, there is mixed volume. I don't like when there's mixed volume because you've got 40,000 contracts approximately. It's not exactly, but you've got almost half of the people trading a different instrument than you. And that just means there's less orders available when you want to get filled. Okay. So it's definitely preferable to have most people trading the same instruments when, especially when we're trading possibly fast moving events. All right. So who's trading? Who's watching? Just curious. Not trying to put attention on you that you don't want. I'm going to check our time sync by going to the website time.is. Okay. There we go. So WASDE is a report we generally don't cancel. We almost always will know when the news is out. I mean, there have been reports over this past year on corn where it hasn't moved, and you might not have known that the news came out. So the corn settings I'm using are 1159.59, bracket of 7, targets of 6 and 13 with a stop of 15. And then I am using that target 1 stop move, break even -3 if my first target gets hit. And then, we talk about why do you label your trade? So let's say before WASDE news is released, soybeans go wild and they just look like the news came out early, so you cancel your trade. You won't know which trade to cancel because you've got 2 possible setups on the control panel. if you don't label them. But if you label them under the word strategy, it's clear and obvious which setup is which. So that's why we do it. Donald, I bet you, I have no idea. I've never looked at ZL on this report. And Donald is looking at the soybean oil futures. So here's the most horrible news that I have to deliver. I can't be at the trade room for the NOPA trade this coming week because I have a doctor's appointment I cannot change. And everybody knows I got hit by a car last year and I can't miss this appointment. Make a long story short, the NOPA, Donald is the person who told me about the NOPA trade. And I just want everyone to know that I have created a DMM, a mini DMM for the NOPA trade. And I'm going to get Jay to make sure he sends it out Tuesday. And I will send it out to all of our trade room members in the trade room email the day before that event. Okay? Because I want to trade it. You know, please, it's not a guarantee it's going to work, but it's a nice little trade. It's a nice little report. Yes, Steve, she could. She's very, very busy, seriously. She's got her own stuff going on. But the DMM, in all seriousness, is really clear. It's an easy trade to set up. And I can't believe that I looked at my schedule like a couple of weeks ago and made sure that I had nothing on that day. And my doctor just had to change a time. He's not going to be in the day he was supposed to be in. There's no way I can change it, unfortunately. And I was thinking, how could I trade it from his office? He always leaves me in his office, and they just have terrible internet in his office. Anyway, let's get ready. We've only got a couple of minutes. All right. So usually soy responds fairly quickly. That's what I'm expecting, that soy will respond fairly quickly. Um, 11:59:58. Kevin, 11:59:58. For you, that's probably 8:59:58, right? All right, so we have a little bit more than a minute. Oh, you're in Texas. I thought you were in California. I forgot. You're in Texas. I was thinking you're in California. Oh my God. You poor soul. All right, we have 1 minute left. 1 minute. I thought Texas seceded anyway. I didn't think it was a state anymore. All right, 40 seconds. Just watching. Okay, so miraculously, make sure you get out of this trade, please. I would exit the trade. It's going to reverse. That was a fantastic trade. That was a fantastic trade. I think it was very lucky we got filled. It was super fast, super fast. Even corn exploded, right? Even corn exploded. Delayed. It was much slower than soybeans. We will watch the video in a minute. I just want to watch the price action. That was price action that I truly thought we would get stopped out. I'm surprised it was a win. I'm a little bit surprised I won. Did everybody else win? Frank won. Let's get a roll call. I'm hoping everybody had the same trade as me, that it was safe for you. Calvin, me too. Calvin, me too. Donald, ZL. Okay, so Donald, I love people. You know, I love this job so much because of people like Donald. That's why I love this job. Eva, very nice. Eva trading. All right, Eva, back in the fold. Eva, back in the fold. Roz, are you serious? Roz, I should have told you the truth. This is a risky report. This is a risky report. I'm glad I didn't say it. I'm actually glad I didn't say it because the breakout's been working. I mean, very honestly, Roz, I can tell you traded 2 contracts at least. And I don't want you to get reckless because of the email conversation we had last week. Do you know what I'm saying, Roz? Calvin, I kind of agree, Calvin. In many ways, that's true, but I've made more than I've lost on WASDE. I've definitely made quite a bit more. Now, there's something I want to tell people about WASDE. And of course, I probably should have said it before the trade, but it's such a rare occurrence. I didn't want to scare people from taking the trade. I really thought we were going to have a good breakout today. That's what I honestly thought. I felt very strongly we were going to have a good trade. Because WASDE is returning, it's starting to return to the mean. And I think we can see it in the way that corn is moving much, much better now also. But I think there's a couple of elements that have affected WASDE. They made changes to the reports about 9 months ago, maybe not quite that much. And I think it has affected the way that the report traded for quite a while. But here's what I wanted to say about WASDE. It almost always reverses, but it's not always a great trap trade. That might have destroyed our trap. Chantal, are you still here? Are you still here? What was the spike on soybeans? I love asking Chantal to find my spikes because she does such a good job of it. So it was 120 ticks, folks. My point is, if we would have done a trap, I don't think our trap would have survived the WASD. No, we were using a recent trap of 40 and 50 with a stop of 20. Okay. But what time did corn move on that spike, Chantal? It was late. It was way after corn. It was way after corn, wasn't it? But just the fact that corn moved as much as it did, it's definitely entering a zone where we can do a trap trade on corn again, I believe. All right. We weren't getting good profit opportunity on corn. But the thing I was going to say that I didn't tell you, there's something called limit up and limit down. And I didn't want to get everybody scared. What happened, and one of the reasons I didn't want to get people scared is I want to be brutally honest and explain that I have tried. I have called the trade desk and I've tried to get them to tell me what's today's limit up and limit down on corn and on soybeans, and they can't figure it out. They don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I'm embarrassed to say. When the price goes limit up or limit down, the market freezes and you're stuck in that market until the next trading session opens. Okay. But I didn't want to scare people so that they didn't trade, scare you to think that, oh my God, I'm going to get stuck in the market. What could be worse than that? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen in the room. And the truth is, our setups almost always will get us out of the trade way before it goes limit up or limit down. But look, what if your stop gets ignored because it moves so fast? Things can happen, but I didn't want to scare people out of the trade. But my goal for next WASDE and next quarterly grain report is we need to figure out how to calculate limit up and limit down properly on ZC and ZS. It's a must. Now, you know what's interesting about that? Donald says he was caught in ZS the wrong way. Largest loss that you ever had. Was it during a WASDE trade with JOBB, Donald? Calvin, I'm going to go to that website before we leave, but I don't think I'm going to be able to figure it out. Do you follow me? WASDE is once a month, Kevin. And then we have that new trade next week that's once a month. And then quarterly grain is quarterly, every 3 months. So Donald found us the ZL trade. ZL is 1223. It's just another future, but it's soybean oil. And look, it had a big burst up, just like corn did, and just like soybeans did. Now, what's interesting is on the NOPA trade, soybeans don't mirror soybean oil. But on WASDE, just going by today, and I bet Donald will tell us, Donald, are you telling me that ZL now mirrors WASDE, that you've been trading ZL all these years and ZL mirrors WASDE? This is something we didn't know, but I never traded ZL before. But the reason I said I love people and I love doing this is because I love how smart you all are. That's what I love. It's fantastic. You know, I can't stand when I used to go into trade rooms and the trade room moderator wouldn't take advice, wouldn't listen to a word anybody said, thought they were the gift from God, knew everything. I just couldn't stand it. I'm nothing without everybody else and all the intelligent things you people bring to the table. That's the key. So look, we made over 400 bucks on this trade, and I'm sure if we calculate it, we had some positive slippage. Oh, this is the first time you ever tried ZL on WASDE? So now I'm going to test ZL. We'll test ZL on WASDE because it might be a very low risk, maybe a lower profit also, because it's half the tick value of soybeans and corn. It's 6.25, and soybeans and corn are 12.50 like the S&P. But anytime we can find a more gentle instrument to trade on a volatile report, that's a bonus, right? That's a bonus. Let's look at the video, and let's just take a look what happened. And what a great way to finish the week, right? Another excellent week. Even look, we really only had one. People made money yesterday. I think I was the only one that didn't make money yesterday because I was the only one who traded the dumb bonds yesterday instead of oil, instead of gold or the NQ. Or I mean, I've just been hanging on to bonds too long, folks. Chantal wants to kill me for hanging on to bonds too long. I like bonds. I really like trading bonds, but they're not making money. So, no, Donald, I mean, if it's the first time you ever traded soybean oil, I wouldn't have traded it live. I had no idea it would move because we never looked at it. Never looked at it. And I didn't think of looking at it because the NOPA report did not work in reverse. So I didn't think WASDE would work in reverse either, you know? And I'd probably use a smaller bracket. I'd use an 8 bracket, maybe 7, as small as corn or soy. And I like the stop. I don't have a problem with even a 18 tick stop because it's only $6. I like a bigger stop when you can use it. I think the bracket can probably be smaller. That's my guess. And that's what we'll test for. But anyway. All right, who has questions? Did anyone have a lousy WASDE report? Did anyone have a lousy WASDE report? So Calvin, Mr. Smarty Guy, Mr. Smart Guy. I guarantee that if we read this article, I'm not going to be able to tell what the price is for the limit up and limit down. No, Arthur, I didn't play it yet. So, Kevin, it was let's look at the video. It was a very fast move. I was surprised that I got filled. But the reason that you don't get filled on a report like that is the speed of the report. Caesar, I apologize. What are you saying? I'm not sure what you're saying. Kevin, sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, usually not. If there's not enough orders there, sometimes putting the order on a little bit earlier can help, but you don't want to go too early so it fills you before the report, which didn't look like it was an issue today. But more importantly, sometimes it just doesn't help. Sometimes the orders, they're just not there. and that's what happens. The orders aren't there. Now, soybeans, they're not real thick in terms of liquidity, but they're not bad. They're way better than some other instruments we trade, like copper. Here's the video. It was, I think it was a lot of luck that that trade worked. Chantal, did you ever see a move like that? That was one of the biggest whip pull downs and pull back ups I've ever seen. Fastest, I should say. Watch that again. Watch it again. It's fast. It's fast. I do want to thank everyone on YouTube for watching us. I really think you should all hit the like button. We made over $400 on that trade live real money. Our members made money, and that's why we stream. We want you to see what's possible. So thanks for watching us on our YouTube channel, and sign up. Go to our website, www.10minutetrades.com, 10minutetrades.com, and I'll see you next stream. Take care on YouTube.